Now, the second group of poems we're going to read is the so-called divine poems, and John Donne wrote a number of divine sonnets, holy sonnets, and just like the secular poems, these are very dramatic poems, but here within the very formal constraints of the structure of the sonnet. Donne was finally persuaded to take orders in 1615 and under James, and very quickly rose, became Dean of St. Paul's and in 1621, and was probably the most famous Dean of St. Paul's for the last 10 years of his life, giving sermons which were printed many, many times, even in his lifetime, and have been printed many, many times since, including very famous reflections and meditations on dying, the one that includes the famous phrase, "For whom that ask not for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee." But the first poem I'm going to read is really a poem of the Last Judgment, imagining this and again asking God's forgiveness. We'll see that running through all of these. At the round earth's imagined corners, blow your trumpets, angels, and arise, arise from death, you numberless infinities of souls, and to your scattered bodies go, all whom the flood did and fire shall overthrow, all whom war, dearth, age, agues, tyrannies, despair, law, chance hath slain. And you whose eyes shall behold God and never taste death's woe. But let them sleep, Lord, and me mourn a space. For if above all these my sins abound, 'tis late to ask abundance of thy grace when we are there. Here, on this lowly ground, teach me how to repent, for that's as good as if thou hadst sealed my pardon with thy blood. The second of these sonnets is perhaps his most famous divine sonnet, holy sonnet, in which he imagines or asks God to completely possess him, almost ravishing him. It's a shocking image, in order that he can be completely God's. Batter my heart, three-personed God, for you as yet but knock, breathe, shine, and seek to mend, that I may rise and stand, o'erthrow me, and bend your force to break, blow, burn, and make me new. I, like an usurped town to another due, labor to admit you, but oh, to no end. Reason, your viceroy in me should defend, but is captived and proves weak or untrue. Yet dearly I love you, and would be loved fain, but am betrothed unto your enemy. Divorce me, untie or break that knot again. Take me to you, imprison me, for I, except you enthrall me, never shall be free, nor ever chaste, except you ravish me. The last of these sacred sonnets, or not sacred sonnets, the last of these sacred poems I'm going to read is called a hymn to God the Father. And in this, John Donne, as so often, puns on his own name. The phrase, have you done, are you finished, is still in current use, especially in the north of England. And he uses that here, punning on it, you have done, have you done, in this poem. And very early in his life, he coined a quip that he'd married Anne More. He eloped with her, actually, and was put in prison by the father for eloping with her. And he made up a quip, and John Donne, Anne Donne, undone. And here he's playing again with his own name, but this time with God. A hymn to God the Father. Wilt thou forgive that sin where I begun, which was my sin, though it were done before? Wilt thou forgive that sin through which I run and do run still, though still I do deplore? When thou hast done, thou hast not done, for I have more. Wilt thou forgive that sin which I have won others to sin, and made my sin their door? Wilt thou forgive that sin which I did shun a year or two, but wallowed in a score? When thou hast done, thou hast not done, for I have more. I have a sin of fear, that when I have spun my last thread, I shall perish on the shore. But swear by thyself that at my death thy sun shall shine as he shines now and heretofore. And having done that, thou hast done. I fear no more.